Good morning, you guys. Welcome back to Rocket City Yardstead and to False Fall. Man, y'all, I am loving it. I woke up this morning and it was around 60 degrees outside. So beautiful. It's only supposed to be 81 today. So I am out here in my garden and I am taking care of things that need to be taken care of. And see, I have already dealt with this walkway. This is what the rest of it looks like. It is an absolute nightmare. Oh my goodness. Look at all those grass seed heads. It's awful. But I'm going to get my walkways taken care of, maybe get some weeding done. We have a few days that are going to be really nice, so I'm definitely going to try and make time to be out here across those. There are also some things I want to show you guys in the garden today, so just kind of working on things, I guess, trying to take advantage of the cool weather and make sure we don't waste our chance. Our cold front has brought some wind with it, and so I hope it's not too much of a distraction in the microphone for you guys. But all weed whacked, so much better. See down this walkway, you can actually see there's a walkway. I do leave my walkway zinnias. I just can't help myself. So there are kind of a lot of them. Isn't this one pretty? I love the color. But it's so much better, you guys. I mentioned there were some things out here I wanted to show you, and so let's take a look at those. If you have never seen them before, these beautiful, beautiful flowers. Let's get in here real close. These are sweet potato flowers. My vines are just covered in them. I didn't realize until now that last year my sweet potatoes didn't flower. That's the first year that's ever happened to me. And it wasn't a great sweet potato year. I think there were a combination of things. I've mentioned this before. I think I had shade cloth over them, and we had a pretty bad drought last summer. And I think those two things combined were part of the problem. But I think maybe that's a good sign of what you're going to get. If there's flowers, they're doing better. They're healthier. They're doing what they need to do. And like last year, no flowers. So that's a thing I need to file away for future memory. My flowers are definitely past their peak, you guys. Can you see? I have some that have just completely shriveled up and died. And then ones like this are very sickly. Not 100% sure. This happens every year. Although, let me show you this other one. First, look at this beautiful Cosmo. This is why I leave the volunteers, because it's just so pretty. I feel like I'm yelling squirrel today, but look at our cardinal basil. These flower clusters are just so amazing. So side note, you guys, talking about the cardinal basil. I have always heard people say that you can take cuttings of basil and root it. And I put basil in my bouquets every summer. I've never had basil put on roots. This year, I've been putting all of my basils in my bouquets just like normal, but I have this cardinal basil for the first time. Every cardinal basil has rooted, long, beautiful roots. If I wanted to take it outside and plant it, I could. And that is awesome. So, something to consider if you've ever wanted to root basil. The cardinal basil is apparently really well suited for that. All right, friends, so here is the zinnia I want to talk about. This zinnia was one of my favorites, so it's very sad. But it was beautiful until about a week ago, maybe even less than that. And I came out here one day and the flowers had just all drooped, and now the entire plant is dead. It didn't look sickly. It didn't look like it had any fungal diseases. I have no idea what happened. I don't know if some kind of bug brought it a disease, but if you have any ideas, let me know, because if it's something maybe in my soil, then I need to figure that out and figure out if I'm going to need to plant zinnias in different places, or if it's some kind of bug I need to be trying to deal with. I just don't know. But I've never just had entire plants up and die like this. I do want to see if we can get a peek in here in my tomato jungle at this new Zucchino rampicante. It is still green, although it's quite large. You see it? And I think I want to take it so we can eat it like zucchini. Speaking of zucchini, I thought I would show you guys where we planted last week. Where'd it go? There's a zucchini baby right there. Another zucchini baby, and right there. And over there, you can see where my cucumbers germinated. So these will have to be thinned, but I'm kind of waiting to see if one plant looks stronger than the other where they're clustered together. So you guys, I realized when I was editing the video where we planted potatoes that I had talked about my loofah plants and how I had this one vine that had jumped to the next trellis. I was debating whether to remove it or not. And I mentioned that I was kind of curious to see how many of the loofahs on it came to fruition, I guess, or if they were just going to fall off. So I didn't show you guys all of the loofahs that are on that vine. Have any of you grown loofah before? Because this is my first year growing it, so complete novice. And they've been relatively sparse on the plants. And so I just thought maybe what I had was what I was going to get. But now I'm wondering if maybe they just tend to put on later in the season because there are so many baby loofahs over here. So I'm going to grab the camera and show you guys all of these loofahs. And if you're a seasoned loofah grower, tell me, is this normal that they're just now in August starting to put on so many loofahs? Our light is a little dappled in here, so I don't know. But here's one of these babies. And then some very tiny ones that I don't know if they will actually grow. But I hadn't even seen a whole lot of little loofahs until recently. There's two on this little piece right there. There's a couple more. There's one. There's one. There's another one up there. Oh, this one's bigger, so I'm assuming it's going to turn into a full-blown loofah. There's a couple more female flowers up here. This plant just hadn't put on a whole lot of female flowers until very recently. So if you know if that's normal, just drop me a comment, let me know, because like I said, I am absolutely a novice when it comes to the loofah. Ooh, I think something bit me. One of my favorite things in the garden is starting to bloom, so I thought I would show you guys. The pineapple sage is getting its gorgeous red flowers. If you don't know, pineapple sage really does smell like pineapple. Pull a leaf off, crush it in your fingers. It smells just like a beautiful ripe pineapple. But the flowers, there's some buried back in there too, they don't start blooming until the days start shortening, which I find very interesting. Since we're here, now look at that beautiful apricot Cosmo. I feel like we also just need to take a moment and appreciate this beautiful flower. I can't remember what it's called off the top of my head. Maybe I have a tag in here. I've just never had these in a place where they thrived like this before, and they're just stunning. Love them so much. Oh my goodness, you guys, I need to show you this. One just flew off, but this squash blossom, there were 3 bees in there. Oh, there are still 3 bees. So I guess there were 4 in there at one point. Isn't that crazy? So you guys, we're going to stand here by my beautiful Thunbergia while we talk about something that's not so beautiful. My Georgia candy roasters. I came out here yesterday. You guys have been with me when I've been checking on them, doing the thumbnail test to see if they've hardened. We can take them off, take them in. But one of my Georgia candy roasters was on the ground, had been attacked by, I think, multiple things. We have had rabbits in our yard some, and there's been some marks that I think look like probably teeth marks. And then I think the squash bugs have just gotten too bad. So I'm going to show you that Georgia candy roaster. But I did end up taking, I think, 4 in the house yesterday. They aren't fully hardened. I have them sitting on the table and I'm hoping that they are going to be able to harden in the house. One of them definitely has to be used like immediately. But let's look at this sad one. I'm going to show it to you. But first, I think I see the culprit. There is a giant army worm on this Georgia candy roaster. So maybe they have eaten holes into them. Look, jerk. But you can see how it was just all open there. It's soft and squishy. That guy's gotta die. Gotta die. Definitely just killed him. So this poor squash, it's so rotten. So rotten. We just had to deal with it. I actually was just going to leave it here, but now that I'm looking at it, it's covered in fruit flies, and I don't really want that. So I'm going to have to get rid of it. But you can see no more Georgia candy roasters over here. I took those in. The plants are very unhealthy anyway in a lot of places. But these up here, like this one and also that one, I think I'm going to try putting that surround clay on them and see if that will deter the bugs. Because that's one of the things that talks about on the packaging, the marketing for the surround clay, is that they don't like the taste of the clay. They don't like the way it kind of sticks to their feet. And so I think I just may fill up a spray bottle with some clay and water and come out here and spray these down really good. Y'all, the okra has definitely taken off. It's getting nice and tall. It's almost as high as my fence now. And it's just covered in flowers and okra. I had honestly started to get worried about it, but it was just a little late this year. There's some beautiful pieces of okra right there. So you guys, here are the Georgia candy roasters I brought in. These 3, I'm hoping we're going to be able to let harden and save like you would a winter squash. So let me show you guys a little more closely. This is where leaf-footed bugs have been sap sucking, also squash bugs, and I think we have stink bugs too. They're all in the same family. And so I may need to process all of these, which is kind of sad, but we don't want to let them rot and go to waste. I do want to show you the one that definitely has to be used now. So it's got some damage. There's a spot right here that's starting to get a little bit rotten, I think. So we're gonna definitely have to remove part of it. Something attacked its stem and it's actually rotting. And then this is why I think maybe rabbits. There are actual teeth marks. A stink bug or a leaf-footed bug did not do that. So it is what it is. And we're gonna make some delicious food out of it before the whole thing rots. So I think I am super itchy. I'm actually seeing lots of red spots on me from where the grass was getting thrown up on me while I was weed whacking. So I think I'm gonna get cleaned up, but maybe we will come back and we will make a salad together. We have a salad we really love to make with like butternut squash, but I think Georgia candy roaster would work really well. So I will see you guys back here in a little bit after I get myself less itchy. I'm all nice and cleaned up, not itchy anymore from all that grass that got flung on me. And we are gonna cut into this squash. I'm a little bit nervous about what I'm gonna find, but I don't really know how much I need. We're just making a salad for lunch today. And then the rest of the squash I'm gonna roast and puree. Ooh, It's hard. It looks nice. We're going to go ahead and peel this chunk. I'm trying to remember. I feel like it hasn't worked super well with the peeler in the past. No, I think we're just going to have to use the knife. But I need gloves for this because if you don't know, there's actually an enzyme in squash. And actually, I've had it happen to me with cucumbers before too. But it is like a peeling agent and it will make your skin kind of get tight and hard and then it starts to peel. They actually put it in facial products for women who are looking for peels and stuff like that. But some of us just react more sensitively to it in its rawest form here coming out of the squash. So far, everything's looking pretty good. I saw one spot there that was a little bit deeper that I was worried about. I've always thought it was interesting how on these Georgia candy roasters, just under the skin, they're a little bit blue. All you've ever worked with is regular pumpkins, I guess. You just don't expect different colors, but that happens in nature. And these Georgia candy roasters are really delicious. So I will take some funny colored squash. Cut that in half. I'm just going to get these seeds scooped out of here and then chop this up into about inch cubes. So nothing super fancy here, just chunks of squash. You want them fairly even so that they will roast evenly. We're just going to dress the squash really simply. Some oil, some pepper, and some salt. Give it a nice good toss to get it all nice and coated. We're going to spread it into a nice layer. We want to make sure it's all spread out well because we want it to roast and not steam. We're going to pop this into a 400-degree oven for about 25 to 35 minutes, just until it's nice and roasted and fork tender. Our squash is out of the oven and nice and roasted up. You can see we've got some nice color on it there. It's going to be fantastic for our salad. I'm just mixing up a batch of vinaigrette with our balsamic onion jam we made earlier this summer. I can link that video for you guys below if you're interested, but I think it'll be really delicious with the squash. Now that our vinaigrette's ready, we can assemble our salad. You guys, it's so good. So this could not be simpler. We're gonna do some baby spinach. Top it with some of our roasted squash. Some sliced red onion. Some feta. If you're new around here, we are dairy free. So we're using this Follow Your Heart feta crumbles that are dairy free, and they are so good. Sprinkle some of the feta on here. I think whatever nuts you like would work really well here, but we're going to actually do some pumpkin seeds. And then finally, a drizzle of our dressing. Grab a fork and dig in. Try and make sure we get a little bit of everything. We have made this salad multiple times, but always with a different dressing. We used to really like this raspberry vinaigrette we could get at Aldi. I think any vinaigrette would work well here, but this onion balsamic one I think is going to be fantastic with the squash. Mm. The balance of flavors here is so good. That jam dressing, the sweet creaminess of the Georgia candy roaster, and that tang from the feta and the balsamic, it's just so good. I hope you guys will give this salad a try. So, thanks for hanging out with me today in the garden and here in my kitchen. I hope you guys have a wonderful day. Let me know if you have any thoughts for preserving the squash in case I need to put all of these up. I'm thinking about maybe like a squash soup base or something, but I don't know. I would like your thoughts. So I will see you guys next time. Bye.